Hello, friends. Good to see you. My name is Aslam Sheikh, your host for this evening. I'm a president of Swiss Education Foundation, an exclusive platform to promote Switzerland as a study destination. This is our seventh talk show and broadcasted live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Every alternate Thursday, we aim to bring in the eminent speaker to discuss the topic that will help you to explore this beautiful country, which has been the favorite destination for Bollywood shootings, family vacations, and definitely for education. This is a first of its kind program which will take a deeper dive into Switzerland and the other important aspects related to country like hospitality, Swiss lifestyle, culture, Swiss institutes, career opportunities, and more. Our today's topic is explore student life in Switzerland. And to discuss this exciting subject, we have with us our student Rohan Kapoor. So let's welcome our guest for today's show. Hi Rohan.
Hello, sir. I hope everybody back home can hear me well.
Absolutely yes, and thank you very much for your time and for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be part of this.
Thank you, Rohan. Let me quickly introduce our audience about you and your little profile which you have. So, Rohan has completed his schooling from Oak Ridge International School, Hyderabad. He is 22 years old, studying in Culinary Arts Academy of Switzerland, pursuing Bachelor of Culinary Arts, and has just completed 5 semester. And he'll be joining back the school in 2022 for graduation. He worked in the kitchen during the Avian Golf tournament, and he also did his internship while studying in Switzerland. And for the friends, so we begin this show with a short introduction. If you have any question, please feel comfortable to write in the comment box, and me and Rohan will try to address those questions if you have any. So let's begin today's session. And before I jump onto our question answer session, let me first quickly introduce the country, a beautiful country, Switzerland. It's a country landlocked of towering mountains, deep alpine lakes, grassy valley dotted with neat farms and small villages, are thriving cities that blend the old and the new. Switzerland is truly the nexus of the diverse physical and cultural geography of Western Europe, renowned for both its natural beauty and its way of life. So, with this short introduction, friends, let's try to learn a lot from Rohan and his experience as a student whilst being in Switzerland. So, Rohan, before we go on to your Swiss life, first let me and let our audience understand that what is your background here in India? What did you do? What did you study? And which part of the India you come from?
As Mr. Sheikh introduced, I am Rohan Kapoor. I come from Hyderabad, where I have resided my entire life. I initially started my schooling in Bharati Vidya Bhavan's International School, where I studied from lower kindergarten to 10th grade. Then, to complete my high school, I finished my high school in Oak Ridge International School. After that, I did a 1 year certificate course just to get a more understanding of the hospitality industry. After that, I joined CAA in 2018. Coming to my family consists of three people, that being myself, my father, and my mother. My father is a poultry businessman. He's a second generation businessman inheriting the business from my grandfather. My grandfather was one of the first poultry businessmen in India, and my mother is a homemaker. She helps my father with the business. Both of them have been very encouraging and supportive of all of my decisions and all of my interests ever since childhood. Coming to Hyderabad, Hyderabad is a very interesting city history wise because it was founded by the Qutub Shahi dynasty, and there are a lot of history, like there's a lot of history and sites to visit. Like you could visit the Golconda Fort, which was one of the prime areas that they used to live. Um, one of the mines that was under the Golconda was actually originated the Kohinoor and the Hope Diamond both, and many others.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to talk about.
I'm sure, and nobody can forget the Hyderabad biryani, when you talk about Hyderabad as a city. So, thank
That's
you
what
very
I
much.
miss most. That's what I miss most when I'm outside India.
Yes, Rohan. So, thank you very much for this beautiful introduction. Now, a lot of students who are or parents who are hearing you, they would want to know, especially that what made you to think to choose Switzerland as a destination for your higher education, with the given fact that there are so many countries in this world, and the most famous countries like US, UK, Australia, and very big countries have been famous for last many years for higher education. What made you to decide vis-a-vis these countries to go to Switzerland for your bachelor degree, Rohan?
The way I actually got introduced to culinary is quite a story. So I was walking to the international section of my high school, and I stumbled upon these two culinary brochures. One was for CIA in the US. The second was for one was for Culinary Arts Academy, that's in Switzerland. After going through both of them, I realized how much of a passion I really had for culinary and how much I really wanted to go through with a career for culinary. And I decided that CIA was a better place. Sorry, CAA was a better place for me because of all of the variety of classes that they provide and the variety of skills that one could pick up from those classes. Coming to Switzerland, Switzerland has always interested me ever since I was a child because Switzerland is called as the mother of hospitality. And other benefits to Switzerland for me would be, since I come from a city which doesn't really have a cold climate, I wanted to experience cold weather more in depth, like see a place where it snows. And Switzerland has great, very beautiful natural beauty. Like it has mountains, it has lakes. Our college is situated near a lake, so we have that every day. You wake up to that every day. It's a really beautiful thing.
Wow. So it's really unusual, and for the students, especially of your age, to also think very differently. And I really appreciate because most of the students and parents may think we come from a southern part of India and going to a winter uh, part of the world is quite would be a quite challenging. But you saw that as an opportunity to live a different style of life. That's something which is very amazing to know. Okay. Rohan, we also now want to know and want to understand from you that when you made the comparison of Switzerland vis-a-vis other countries, what maybe the two strong points that stood out very strongly, which actually made you to decide that Switzerland should be the destination for your higher education?
I would say two really strong points that stood out to me would be the culture of Switzerland. Switzerland has a really strong cultural identity that I have seen in very few other countries. Swiss people are very tied into their culture and their way of living, and it's a very nice thing to see in a day-to-day basis. Another reason that I consider Switzerland and other than any other country would be due to Switzerland's reputation in the hospitality industry, especially due to it having a lot of hospital hotels in Switzerland, like a different variety. You could work for a lot of places. There's a lot of variety of places where you could work.
Right. Absolutely. Switzerland definitely has got a very high reputations. In fact, in this year, 2021, as per the QS Hospitality and Leisure Management ranking, Switzerland stood as a number one destination, having maximum schools ranking among top 10 in the world for hospitality. And that itself is the testimony of what you just mentioned, being having the highest reputation for one of the best institutes, one of the best countries in the world for hospitality. Great, Rohan. Let's move further. Then the next question, which is quite interesting, and many students have requested us to ask you this question so that they can learn from your experience. Is that how was like your first week? Spending in Switzerland. So what was like? I mean, the day you arrive as a student who might be visiting Switzerland first time for longer stay and
Mhm.
completely for a different purpose, right? So, what were your some good or bad memories or some challenging times of first week of you being in Switzerland?
I arrived like the day that I arrived to college was the Sunday before we could start classes. So one day before we started classes, I arrived to the college, And my parents were with me, so we went through the orientation process together. There are these people called resident assistants who help you to check in through your room. So one of them accompanied me to my room, and he allotted me the room. He helped me carry my baggage. After that, I went to get my uniform fitting and my shoes for the kitchen, and got introduced to the teachers and the people I would be seeing regularly. On Monday, when we started our classes, we had the short orientation, which was very spontaneous, I would say, in a way, in a good way, I would say spontaneous. It would allow us students to talk to each other, make interactions, maybe talk to people who we wouldn't talk to in another setting. And after that, normal classes started. So we reached our classes and we got introduced to our teachers. It was all very professional, and all of them were very helpful. So I didn't really have a problem, I would say, during orientation or during the first week. The only thing I would say is homesickness.
Yeah.
Other
Okay,
than
great.
that, no really bad point that I can remember.
Okay, so were you picked up from the airport, or how did you find your way out to the college on the first day?
I came via Geneva Airport. I traveled to Montreux, and then from there I took a taxi to the school, to the college. I took a taxi to the institute.
So, how did you find being traveling first time and finding the way from Geneva to Montreux to college? Was it difficult, or was it easy, or it was easy to follow the guidelines?
It was a bit challenging to get someone who understood English, like at first. But after we talked to two people, the third person took us to Montreux, which was, I would say, an hour and a half drive. And it was pretty easy. Then from there we took a cab to Bouvray, where the college is situated.
So
So
many parents, Rohan, ask, or they worried about that we have a culture, kind of a culture, if not everywhere, but most of the places in India, that parents are worried about being bullied on your first days by the seniors. Like we watch movies also, and in
Mhm.
Three Idiots, the way the juniors have been treated by the seniors. We talk about ragging on the college campuses during the first week or first few days. So, what do you got to say about the Swiss culture as compared to these things, which what I just mentioned?
I didn't face anything bullying wise at all during even initially or later during my stay in Switzerland. They have a very different culture, I would say. The students who are there for longer, like the older students who are in other terms higher than you, they don't really bully you. I would say they actually include you.
Okay.
They include you. There's this like they take you to the club sometimes with them if you're above 18, of course. Please don't drink if you're not above 18.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, they take you to clubs, they get you socialized, they introduce you to new people. So I would say the culture is quite different actually.
Right.
You wouldn't
Thank you very
really
much, Rohan.
learn as a
Yeah.
parent.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, it's a very important point what you mentioned here. So, friends, if you're listening to us, many a time parents worried about being, children's being bullied by the seasoned students or experienced students, but the culture is very different, as Rohan has experienced and he has got to mention, wherein it's more of the seniors gets involved in welcoming the new students. Otherwise, so that's how something which is very different, which you would experience after arriving in Switzerland. Ron, next question, which most of the parents, especially, would want to know that as a student, as an Indian student, we have got a certain way of living here in India, the way we eat, the way we move out, the way we interact with the people. And definitely, the lifestyle in Switzerland, or as a matter of fact, in any other country, would be way different than what we experienced so far in India. So, if we talk about the initial first few months, what kind of challenges usually as an international student traveling first time to Switzerland you would face, which you would like to show or discuss with our students and parents here? And then how did you cope up with those challenges? If you have got some examples to share with us.
Mhm. Initially, I did have a slight problem with the food because I'm very used to the way that food is prepared here with all of the spices and everything else. But after a while, I would say I got quite used to the food. The food is quite nice. In Switzerland, you get to experience quite different, like a lot of cultures. Even in college, they do cook quite a lot of Asian food also to include all of the Asian students. So I did initially I did, but after very few days, I did get used to it, and it was quite nice. Other things that I would say, if you have prior language experience, it would be helpful for you when you reach Switzerland. For example, like considering our colleges are situated in the German and French part, you could either learn German or French at least like a little bit before you arrive for you to have like a smoother time in Switzerland. But they do speak English quite well there also. Even in the airports, in most public places, they do speak English. So I didn't face any problem regarding that also.
Okay. And how was your experience with, like, say, interacting with the people living in Switzerland and interacting and getting along with them?
Mhm. Our college is located in a place called Beauvais, which is, I would say, quite a small town. So it doesn't have a lot of people living there. There are few elderly people. There are few like it's a whole range of people who live there. So it's a quiet town, but a lot of people come there during the summer to visit because our college is quite. It's right near the lake, and it's a really beautiful place. You can socialize with new people, you can talk to new people. They're actually quite friendly. They don't mind including you in new activities. Like if you're swimming, people will come talk to you. If you want to be interacted with, people will talk to you. It's really fun.
Okay, great. So, friends, if you're listening to Rohan clearly, he suggests you to learn a basic German or French before you travel to Switzerland, depending on which part of Switzerland you're going to study and live, residence, anyways. So that's how Switzerland is very international, and I believe that that's a testimony of what Rohan is also experiencing. Great, Rohan. Rohan, we are moving to our next question. Would you mind to share your now the college experience, your actual educational experience? So the whole reason why students and parents investing a lot of money to study in one of the best places like Switzerland for hospitality and business, especially, or for a culinary course, is because of the high quality of education. And we started the program with the top ranking institutes of Switzerland, how they made a mark in the world. What exactly is that ranking, that top quality translate in a real life to you as a student? What do you experience that thing?
So I would say in classes they do have a lot of different methods of teaching. Like each teacher will have their own way of teaching, and there are quite a lot of tools that they use to teach. They have different presentations, and they have these applications that they use. There's this application called Kahoot, where the teacher logs you in and they ask you questions, and then based on that you get points. And it's actually quite it's really interesting and it's really interactive. And even on campus they have now I've heard that they've introduced a student cooking area so that you can book a time and you can cook there on your own free time. Also, there's this mini mart that they have in the college itself, so you can, if you're going to classes, you can buy either a drink or a snack. They have a Starbucks machine in there also, so you can buy coffee from there. The reception area is also very helpful. If you ask them about any doubts that you'll have, they'll definitely guide you through that.
Okay, great. That's good to know that. And would you like to talk about the facilities, especially when you are going for a professional course like culinary arts? You are relying more on to one, the skills of the professors or the chef, and second is the kind of facilities the school offers. So what's your experience about these two things?
Facilities in general, I would say they do have a cafeteria for you. In different campuses, it depends on what days they're closed. Like on the weekend, they have generally, if they're open during the weekend, they have brunch and dinner. I think in Brick they don't have the option for the weekend because they give their staff the off on the weekend. They give their kitchen staff the off on the weekend because they don't have any students helping the kitchen staff. In Bouvray, we have it's the culinary college in Bouvray, so we have more of a student interaction and we can make different things. That's why brunch is possible in Bouvray.
And
Also, there's laundry facilities, and even your accommodation is included in the fees.
right, so do you have to cook the food for your day-to-day meals requirement, or you get served by the college?
The college makes a buffet for you, so they
Okay.
make the food and they serve it in the buffet, and then you can go and take whatever you want to eat from that. There's a wide variety of food that you can eat. There's a hot buffet, and then there's a cold buffet. Then they have bread. They have diet meals. So there's and then they have dessert also, coffee, tea, the regular things.
Okay, so it means that unlike other countries, where students have to go apart from studies, they have to take care of cooking the meal, for their daily living. You don't have to cook the food in Switzerland, and that's what you meant to say. And would you like to explain more about the accommodation? What kind of facilities you get inside your room? Is it a blank apartment the way you usually get in India, or it has got its own facilities as well?
I would say it's not at all like a blank apartment. The basic room that's included in your fees comes, so you have a roommate with you, so you have your own bed, you have your own, they provide you with towels and everything, you have your own study area with a chair and a desk. Um, uh, what else? They have that, and they have room upgrades also that you can apply for. They have a double deluxe room that's slightly more advanced, and they have single rooms for people who don't like to have roommates, or for people who prefer to stay alone.
Okay, so that's there. The food and accommodation is on campus, or it's on off campus.
For your first semester, you have to stay on campus, but from your second semester onwards, generally, at least in Bouverie that I have seen, they do have off-campus options. Also, they have these apartments that you can apply for. For example, so if there's you and there are 8 other friends or 9 other friends, you can apply for an apartment and stay there.
Okay. Okay. So, great. So, friends, what we are understanding is that unlike other countries, and that's something which is very special about Switzerland, and I think it's very exclusive to Switzerland, that your fees, as Rohan said, includes your meal plans, your accommodation, your laundry, and other facilities, and it's all being taken care by the college. So, the one plus point I would see as a counselor here, if I have to mention very specifically, is that you don't waste your time for your day-to-day living preparations. So when you are studying, you're studying, and then everything has been taken care by the college, and that's a best way to utilize and optimally utilize your very precious moments of higher education in abroad. uh, Rohan, we also want to know, apart from study and this living experiences, what are the fun activities or the extracurricular activities which you enjoy during your study period?
Our college does have these on the weekend, generally during Saturday. They do have activities that you can do if you put a certain deposit that the college pays you back after the activity is done. There are hikes that you can do. There's this place called Aqua Park near the college that you can visit. there's quite a lot of things that they do actually, and then they have these two events that happen every year. So they have the term 5 event, that's the term 5 hospitality event. And I think now they've shifted the culinary event to term 6. So they have the term 6 culinary event. Then they have this place called Underground, which is literally a pub in the college. So it's quite interesting. There's that element also.
Okay, great. Uh, Next, moving to the next, apart from the educational experience, we know that Switzerland is probably the only country in the world which also gives equal amount of weightage to your practical training or practical learning. So we would like to know from your experience that this practical learning, which is called internship, how was your experience with these colleges and with their internships allotted to you? What did you learn during the internship, and what kind of a work you did as an intern?
So the college, the program that I am doing is a 3-year program where I have already finished 2 years, and that includes one internship also. The program, the way they've designed it is that one internship you have to do in Switzerland, and one you can, if you would like, you can do outside Switzerland also. So I finished my first internship in the Lucerne branch of Caesar's colleges in the kitchen. I have worked there. It was a nice experience because there's a cultural difference between the German part and the French part. So I got to experience that culture firsthand, living there for 6 months. The way people interact and the way people talk is a bit different than the French part. So there's that cultural difference. And the place where I work, the Lucerne campus, also, other than the hospitality, it also has the pastry program for CAA. So I got to eat a lot of delicious pastries there.
Yeah, right. So do you get paid during the internship?
Yes, if you're working in Switzerland, there's a minimum salary that you get, which is I think roughly 2,100 and something francs. So you get paid that by your employer, and then that is your base salary. They deduct the tax based on the canton where you work, and I had my food there also, so they deduct the food cost. And what I got in hand was 1,700 something, which is
Okay.
actually, and then excluding my rent, I was left with I think 800, which is
Which
quite
is
a decent amount to save. Exclude, because I'm being provided food, I'm being like including my rent and everything. Having 800 left over is quite nice.
wow. I mean, it's amazing salary to earn at this age of your life. I think you must be around 1920s.
I'm in my early 20s. Yeah, I'm 22. Yeah.
Absolutely, friends. So that's again something no, to talk about in Switzerland. Of course, we all are going for a fantastic experience, global immersive experience and exposure. But apart from that, if the internship also pays you well, there is no harm, to earn that amount of salary at this age. So what Rohan is saying, the 2,100 francs, approximately converted in today's 79 rates, it would be anything above 1.5 lakh equivalent Indian rupees.
Mhm.
And if you minus the food cost, the taxes, and even your rental accommodation rental, you are still left with 800 francs according to Rohan's own experience. That would be approximately 65,000 equivalent Indian rupees net saving, which is quite remarkable if you compare this amount to, even if you graduate here in India and you expect somebody to pay that much salary, you will not even get one third if you're lucky to get in the industry. Secondly, many times students also look out for hospitality culinary courses in other part of the world. Let me just inform you that in the different countries, you would be working part time, and those part times are actually a unauthorized, or they are not regulated jobs. It's an odd job, which you're supposed to take up on your own to support your living expenses. So it's not designed by curriculum, it's not designed by program. It's just you pick up the job whenever and wherever it is available. And out of other students' experiences, we know that you may earn during part time in other countries anywhere between 50,000 to 70,000 equivalent Indian rupees, but that's your gross salary, and then you have to cover your living expenses. So eventually, you would use up the entire money if you have to pay for your living and everything. Wherein in Switzerland during internship, it's a regulated internship, so you know it's by design. So you exactly know why you're doing the job, where you're getting an experience of it, and you also paid very handsomely as per the minimum wage law of Switzerland. So thank you, Rohan, for this very important piece of information. So we were just moving to our concluding part of the session. Before we conclude the session, I would like to know that how was your overall experience being in Switzerland as a student? And we know that you are yet to complete a few semesters to graduate. However, till now, how was your experience to sum up in few words?
So far, my experience has been really great. I've gotten to work with some really great people. I've interacted with a lot of people, made some of my closest friends in Switzerland. It's a really great place to study, travel to, either vacation or study. It's a great place to go to. I would say one should visit at least once in one's lifetime.
Absolutely. And I had my one of the students earlier joined me quite a few months ago, and he said that once you visit Switzerland, it's very hard to go somewhere else and imagine your life outside Switzerland. So
I would,
it's very
I would definitely agree.
okay. Rohan, last question. As a student guide, as a student mentor, if I ask you, what would be your top three advices to students or parents who are listening to you and who are aspired to send their children abroad, or students who wants to go abroad? What your top three advice would be as an international students by yourself?
Firstly, I would say don't feel shy. Go talk to your teachers, go talk to your fellow students, go talk to your classmates, especially teachers. If you can ask them anything about any difficulties you're having, if you're not understanding any topics, like they will go out of their way to help you most times. And they're very helpful, they're very interactive. Secondly, I would say travel. Travel more, whether it's a general travel or whether it's travel for educational purposes. Switzerland is a really great place to travel. I myself would say I haven't traveled Switzerland enough. I still need to go to Italian part of Switzerland, and I'm looking forward to go there. So, second point would be travel. My third point would be enjoy yourself and focus on studies also. Uh, the correct way of putting it would be more time management.
Yeah.
So, based on your class, you have a timetable that they give you. So they do teach you time management from the very beginning because each time you miss a class, you have infractions. So that you don't have infractions, you will attend the class, and the class are also interesting. So you want to attend the class. I would say don't miss your classes unless you really have to. Like, if you like save your infractions for when you're really sick.
Right. Absolutely.
Because if you're done with your infractions for a theory subject, it's 6 hours, I believe. And if you're done with that, and one day you're really sick, you still have to go to class.
Right. Thank you, Rohan, for this piece of advice. And I'm sure the students who are listening and parents who are listening to you are getting a lot of insights out of your conversations, and they're seeing Switzerland through your eyes, which is quite easy for them sometime to connect with the country from the student's point of view. And just to add a few things, friends, from the safety point of view, the Global Peace Index ranking is out, and Switzerland is the seventh safest place on earth. So again, given the current situation, you can be worry free when you are choosing Switzerland as your destination for higher education. Also, nearly 25% of student population in Switzerland comprising of international students. So definitely you are not one of a few, but you are one of many who chose Switzerland to come for higher education. And Switzerland offers 3,000 degree programs, out of which 700 approximately are offered in English. And the good news is all the major hospitality colleges and culinary schools, which is represented by Swiss Education Foundation, are all teaching in English language. So that's a plus point, and you don't have to worry about learning in foreign language. Yes, but as Rohan said, add the foreign language proficiency to your portfolio before coming in. That would help you at least to know the basic. That will help you to socialize in the foreign environment quite well. So, thank you, Rohan. Thank you very much for your time. And we really appreciate your insights and your frank opinion about your experience being a student in Switzerland. And we wish you all the very best, a professionally successful career in your chosen field.
So thank you for having me here. It was really great to share my experience with people who want to visit Switzerland or are either inquisitive about studying in Switzerland. I'm very happy that you contacted me to do this.
Thank you very much. So, friends, that's how we do. We keep on touch with our students who are already there in Switzerland so that you, as a fresh student, get to learn a lot from their experiences, and that can motivate you and give you a confidence to take a positive step towards choosing Switzerland as your destination. As a Swiss Education Foundation, we are the largest platform in India promoting Switzerland, and we are offering a lot of hospitality and business schools options, offering varieties of specializations and programs with a short scholarship. So, if you are really interested to grab the opportunity to study in this beautiful, safest country in the world, having a lot of global exposure, then do contact us and then we'll be happy to help you. So, with this, I would like to thank you as well for listening to us and participating in this program. But if you have any question, please do not feel shy to contact us on our helpline number, that's 887999 42001, or visit our website swisseducation.com and leave your comments or fill up the inquiry form. Our experienced counselor will be happy to assist you instantly. My name is Aslam Sheikh, President of Swiss Education Foundation, signing off with a promise to come back again on 30th September. Yes, 30th September, next Thursday, sharp at 5 p.m., with another guest speaking on interesting educational topic. Until then, think Switzerland, think Swiss education. Thank you, Rohan.
Thank you.